When you're playing a game, do you ever take the chance to try and understand the story? Try and see why every moment in that story happened the way it did, why everything was intended to lead up until the final moment. Well, I used to do that. And I used to do that for a lot of games. That's why I enjoy the story of games so much.
If you don't think it's real, look at my face.
But this time, when I first started playing Reverse 1999 1.5, I was just playing it to play it. But after someone left a comment under my video, talking about how they saw Ezra as boring, somewhere inside of me, I didn't agree. But I didn't know why. Now, I didn't know if I was subconsciously taking notes on why I didn't think he was boring, but at the time, I thought it was because he's very well synchronized with all the other characters. But after that moment, I started to play it to understand. I started to play the event to understand why each moment was written that way. Reverse 1999 is a game that I love because every action and every word seems purposeful and intentional. Every moment is supposed to curate a message that by the end you can either relate to or learn from. Nightmare on Green Lake. Blondie hid her true self for others because she was trying to please people.
It was then I realized nobody wants me to be an arcanist.
Jessica was afraid of being left behind, and when Blondie came back, Jessica did not want Blondie to leave her behind again.
No, this is not the end. Stay right here.
Journey to Bluepoch. Kalabuna never felt strong enough. Kalabuna always felt like the prey, and Charmaine taught her that sometimes the prey can become the predator. Kumar never felt good enough. She was too arcanist to be a good enough human, and not a good enough arcanist to be considered an arcanist. So she never felt like she had a real place. Revival of the Uluru Games. To me, it was different. The thing about Reverse 1999 is it always seems to come at the right time. For example, when I finished Chapter 4 on my birthday, Madam Z and I got to blow out the candles on the birthday cake together. It was a day for me that felt so low due to family issues, but I got to spend it playing Reverse 1999 and with you guys, which made it so much better. When more things came up in my life, Revival of the Uluru Game came at the perfect time. From first glance, the event seems like it's going to be a happy one compared to 1.3 and 1.4. You would think the energetic music in the login screen or in the beginning of the game before you go into the event would tell you everything you need to know. However, the lyrics in the song Go Together will have a much deeper meaning later on in the story. When introduced to Desert Flannel, we learn one important thing about her. She's broke. It almost comes off as she's the type to do a lot for money. Just like some people, we weren't born with a silver spoon or even a bronze spoon in our mouths. Desert Flannel works a lot of odd jobs. However, this experience shows her things that those without these experiences wouldn't learn as easily. Spathadia is a character who shows her sunny personality from the moment we first encounter her. She's outgoing and has this aura of energy and confidence. Spathadia comes from an immigrant family that is pretty well off. Spathadia, who is, pretty wealthy, and Desert Flannel, who is just managing to get by, apparently live in the same neighborhood. Ezra, at face value, is seemingly only interested in research due to him working in Laplace, Australia branch. He lacks social skills and ends up saying things that might be offensive because of it. However, later on in the story, you learn about Ezra's more angelic nature. He's the type to put others before himself. This is even shown in Ezra's side story. His feminine, more soft appearance adds to his soft nature that they are obviously trying to convey. In the story, Spathadia runs into Desert Flannel on accident. This caused Spathadia to show some symptoms of being a reincarnator. She begins to have memories from the past of things that obviously she never experienced because it was 100 years ago. Spathadia, becoming concerned, reaches out to Verton while also bringing Desert Flannel along. Here we learn Spathadia and Desert Flannel are indeed neighbors, with Spathadia living in the more wealthy part of the neighborhood, and Desert Flannel living in the more run-down area of the neighborhood. So by then we're already seeing some differences in the characters. Desert Flannel only feels inclined to help due to Spathadia being a Nepo baby and Desert Flannel being broke. At the Laplace Research Center, we meet Ezra, who is at the hospital, and there he explains to Spathadia that she is a reincarnator, and he explains it to us as well. She is destined to become the person who is being reincarnated within her, which in this case is Flammy. Spathadia and Ezra don't get along. Ezra makes a comment on how Arcanus can be more emotional, and Ezra clearly didn't have any ill intentions when saying these things. However, Spathadia doesn't take the stereotyping lightly and gets upset. Spathadia's flame, which she coughed out earlier in the story, revealing that she is a reincarnator, engulfs the hospital room in flames. Ezra is 100% human. Spathadia is 100% Arcanus. And this pretty much shows a battle between the two sides, which has been going out throughout the whole story. Now, for Arcanist and human, those can be seen as many different issues that happen in our day-to-day lives. People have varying opinions, people have varying beliefs, people look different, people act different. And because of that, people are very divided. This is a big thing in Reverse 1999. This can touch on any issue where one group of people think one thing and another group of people think another thing. Spathadia is excited and determined to revive the Uluru Games, which was an Arcanist sports event that took place in Flammy's time almost 100 years ago. We learn that Spathadia and Flammy are one, so she won't be taken over by Flammy, and they essentially just merged. At the beginning of this mission, Spathadia does not want Ezra to participate. She has no interest in humans' efforts, nor does she want to be used in Ezra's research. Ezra still decides to go to the desert with them. For his research's sake, he tags along behind so that Spathadia doesn't notice he's there. When Spathadia seemingly disappears, Ezra exposes himself to help find her.
Wait, how long have you been following us?
From the beginning, when you were at the hospital. Sorry, Miss Desert Flannel. Please let me check this first.
I care too much about how other people think about me. That has to be my greatest weakness. I care too much if the people around me like me, hate me, love to be around me, or are embarrassed. Much like Blondie, I changed myself to be the way I wanted people to perceive me as. Blondie started hating the things she loved, and so did I. However, to understand Ezra's character, I had to think the opposite way. If someone doesn't like him, it's almost like he doesn't even notice. He doesn't even consider if the way he's saying things might make people upset. However, Ezra never tries to make people upset. He tries to help. When Spathadia disappeared, he came out of hiding to help find her. That was after she made it very clear that she did not want him around. When Spathadia went against Ezra's orders to be resting and recovering after what happened in the desert, Ezra helped Spathadia anyway with the documents to revive the Uluru game. He said himself,
No worries, Spathadia. I've also learned something today. That is, it pains me more to see people suffer than to endure my own suffering. I'd prefer to give them a hand.
So, right after we thought Ezra and Spathadia would finally get along,
No, definitely no! This is the Uluru Stadium we're talking about, not some office building on the street. I will not let you in. I wouldn't have left the gate open if you told me your plan earlier.
But what about the audience, Miss Spathadia? How are we going to look after their safety? If one of the walls or the ceiling collapses, how can they escape?
Nothing like that has happened before. Not even one case in the past hundreds of years.
Nothing stays the same forever. We have to foresee the danger before it is too late.
They can run away from the danger themselves.
Excuse me.
You already figured it out, right? The stadium can get rid of fatigue from arcanists and adjust their conditions and arcane abilities to their best. Even if accidents really happened, they can protect themselves. The prophets and diviners will also warn the others. We never needed metal bars above our heads to protect us.
What about the human audiences? They have no superpower, nor super senses. They can't fly a broom or teleport themselves. They can't even get themselves out of a packed room. In your plan, how are you going to ensure their safety?
Humans? What are they doing in the stadium? There has never been a single human in the Uluru Games. None of them have managed to find the entrance, not to mention enter it.
But I am human, Miss Spathadia. You invited me to the games. It's also you who told me that humans, like myself, can enter the Uluru Stadium if it shows itself.
I thought you were different. You showed concern about Arcanists and you helped us a lot. You're a kind human.
But I'm not special. I'm no greater than any other humans. I don't deserve to be treated differently. I'm just one of the majority. An ordinary human. If I can be accepted by the stadium, so can other humans.
Spathadia, Ezra, guys, calm down. This is not the time for a fight.
This is not the time? When shall we have it then? The world is full of sports games for humans. One after another and another. But this is the only sports game for Arcanists. Why don't you go mind your own games? And haven't humans stolen enough from us? They even made our arcane skills accessible to them. They modified arcane gadgets and added some science stuff, and bang! The arcane tricks I know suddenly become something new. Some invention exclusive for humans' use. And now they're even taking away the Uluru Stadium with metal bars. It was me who found the stadium, and I'm not giving it to anyone.
Taking away? No, I have never thought of taking anything away from you, Miss Spathadia. I was just trying to help. Like most of the Laplace researchers, we spend most of our time in the lab. We read, we study day and night. We weren't doing it to make humans noble, not for arcanists. Those products and achievements, they are the fruit of the combination of arcanum and science. They were made to make everyone's life better.
Make life better? Get out! You think I never saw the ad of Laplace? Guide arcanum with science. Tame the odorless power with sense. That's what you tell the people.
Sense will guide sentiments, so as to prevent the latter from destroying itself in the flames. You have to tend to the flames carefully, to understand them, protect them from danger. This is what I've been taught. And this is also the principle I've always acted upon. And this very suitcase that we are staying in is also placed at the entrance made by humans. You shouldn't think so ill of them when you're standing on it. We were only trying to help. That's all.
I'm out! It's pointless arguing with a rude human who has no respect for arcanists!
Ezra didn't understand. He didn't know what he said was wrong because in his heart, he was just trying to help. He went to his room to sort out his thoughts. I mean, it was obvious he was very confused. What did he say that made Spathadia so upset?
Showing Ezra what the world is like. Be right back. Desert Flannel.
This is when Desert Flannel decides to step in. Like an older sister, she takes Ezra to go see the world. The world not just through any eyes, but one of an arcanist. Desert Flannel's experiences of doing odd jobs here and there helped her in this very moment. She showed Ezra what it's like for arcanists to compete with humans in sports. Ezra learned something that he would have never been able to learn in a lab. She showed him something he would have never been able to learn in books. Innocent ignorance. After seeing how kids under the Foundation are taught, it's very apparent that you only need to know what the Foundation wants you to know. These kids rarely got to experience the outside world and weren't allowed to go against the Foundation in any way. So Neto, for example, her heart softened the more people she met outside of the Foundation. Sotheby, Regulus, Drubus, and Schneider. Ezra, already not having the strongest social cues, didn't really understand how the things he says could have been seen as offensive to Spathadia. Spathadia is an athlete who knows about arcanist sports. Instead of Desert Flannel condemning Ezra like Spathadia did, she decided to show him. She took the time to help Ezra understand. Spathadia later realizes Ezra's true nature. how Ezra was only trying to help, that pushing him away was only causing a bigger division between humans and Arcanists instead of bringing them together. After the countless times Ezra was misunderstood by Spathadia, she was able to understand. Flammy and Uluru had a fight in the past, and before Uluru can get a chance to apologize, Flammy was dead. Reverse 1999 tries to teach us to put aside our differences, to try to learn and understand each other so we can learn to work together, because in reality, there won't always be a second chance. For Uluru, she almost didn't get that chance. The Uluru Games, which was once an event that divided Arcanists and humans, became a pillar that unified them. Instead of competing against each other, they can participate with each other. Instead of competing against each other, we can participate with each other. Outside of the madness, rising from the ashes, revival of the sacred flame, we all here together, time is now or never, different, yet we're all the same. Time waits for no one. So instead of fighting about our differences, whether it's about our beliefs, appearances, or opinions, let's instead use the time we have together to unify each other. Instead of competing, let's participate and cross the finish line together.
No matter how many times the storm reshapes the world, from top to bottom. No matter how the times or the lifestyle change. No matter how ignorant people become. Whenever they open the gate to the Uluru Stadium again, they will remember the spirit and faith it has been conveying. Things will change in the unstoppable river of time, yet the Uluru Stadium shall remain forever.